All right, let's talk about something that's really on the cutting edge of AI right now, agent teams. We're going to take a deep dive into how you can get multiple AIs to work together, to collaborate, and to solve problems that are just way too big for any single AI to handle on its own.
So, let's just kick things off with a big question. We see these AIs doing incredible things, writing code, creating art, answering unbelievably complex questions. But could one of them, just one single AI, actually build a whole complex application from the ground up? I mean, the whole shebang, planning, coding, testing, all of it.
Well, the short answer is probably not. At least not yet. The sheer complexity is just off the charts. But, and this is where it gets really interesting, a single AI might not be able to, but a team of AIs, a coordinated group, now that is a completely different story. And that's the whole idea behind these multi-agent systems.
To make this all feel a bit more real, we're going to look under the hood of a real-world example, Anthropic's new Agent Teams feature. The best way to think about this is just like a human project team. It's got different roles, a clear structure, and a process for getting work done. Okay, so every good team needs a boss, right? In this system, that's the team lead. This is your main AI, and its job is basically to be the project manager. It looks at the big goal, it breaks it down into all the little bite-sized tasks, it dishes them out to the other agents, and then, at the very end, it pulls all the finished pieces back together.
Now, the team lead isn't in the trenches doing all the work itself. For that, it's got teammates. And the really crucial thing to understand here is that these teammates are independent. Each one is its own separate AI, with its own memory, its own context, and its own set of tools. It's literally like hiring a bunch of specialists for your team, and each one shows up with their own unique toolbox.
So how does a team like this stay organized? How do they all stay on the same page? Well, they use a shared task list. And this is basically just a digital project board. Think Trello or Jira. Every single agent on the team can look at this board and see exactly what needs to be done, who's working on what, and which tasks have to be finished before others can start. It's the team's single source of truth.
And, what's a team if they can't talk to each other? That's where the mailbox system comes in. This is the team's private Slack channel, essentially. Teammates can send direct messages to one another to coordinate, or they can broadcast a message to the whole team to give an update. It allows them to be way more dynamic and collaborate on the fly.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, this sounds like a recipe for total chaos. And you'd be right, if it weren't for some really smart rules. For instance, they use file locking, which is a clever way to stop two agents from grabbing the exact same task and overwriting each other's work. The fact that each teammate has its own independent memory is also huge. It means the lead has to be super explicit with its instructions. And then you have these important guardrails, like a special delegate mode for the lead and requiring planned approval from a human before a teammate takes a big action.
All right, so that's the deep dive on how Anthropic's team is set up. But let's zoom out for a second, because these ideas are bigger than just one company. Turns out most of these multi-agent systems, whether they're from OpenAI or Microsoft or some open source project, are built using the same fundamental blueprints.
So, the first big choice you have to make when building an AI team is about its structure, what the experts call its orchestration topology. Basically, how are you going to arrange all your agents to solve the problem most effectively? Because it is definitely not a one-size-fits-all situation. Let's look at two of the most common ways to do it.
So first, you got the manager-worker model. This is pretty much what we just saw with Claude. One manager breaks down the work, and a bunch of workers go off and do it. It's fantastic for projects where the path forward is pretty clear. But for those really messy, ambiguous problems, like trying to hunt down a nasty bug, that's where the debate pattern is just brilliant. You get multiple agents to all come up with different solutions, and then you have them critique each other's work. It's an amazing way to avoid that classic human trap of just falling in love with the first idea you come up with.
Okay, the next huge piece of the puzzle is what I like to call the team memory problem. How does the team share information and stay in sync? Well, one way is the Blackboard approach, basically a shared workspace like a file folder or that task list we talked about. Another way is a message bus, where agents just pass messages directly to each other. But the most powerful solution, and the one Anthropic landed on, is a hybrid of the two. You get the structured, organized view from the shared task list, plus the flexibility of direct messaging. It really is the best of both worlds.
This is all great in theory, but let's get down to brass tacks. What can you actually do with this stuff? What are the real-world missions where these AI teams can make a difference? And, why should you care?
I mean, the possibilities here are seriously powerful. In software, you could have one agent reviewing code for security flaws, another one checking for performance bottlenecks, and a third writing tests, all at the exact same time. For knowledge workers, imagine a team of agents that can read through 100 different research papers and synthesize a perfect summary report for you. Or in cybersecurity, you could have one agent that's dedicated to reproducing a bug, while another one is simultaneously writing the code to patch it. This is all about doing complex brain work in parallel.
But, and this is a really big but, it's not all a walk in the park. You can't just spin up an AI team and expect magic. There are some major challenges and some pretty nasty hidden costs that you absolutely have to know about before you dive in.
There are two massive hidden costs you have to watch out for. The first one is what we call token burn. Simply put, running a bunch of AIs at once is expensive. It chews through a ton of tokens, and tokens equal money. The second one is coordination overhead. Just like with a human team, a surprising amount of time and energy can get wasted just managing the work and communicating instead of actually doing the work. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Anthropic themselves put a big warning label right in their documentation. They say, flat out, that using agent teams will cost you significantly more tokens than just using a single AI. So the takeaway here is clear. This is an incredibly powerful tool, but it is not a cheap one.
And beyond the cost, there are other traps to avoid. You can get file conflicts that grind everything to a halt. You can get groupthink, where all the agents agree on a bad idea. Remember, that's what the debate pattern helps prevent. And since this is all brand new technology, it can just be, well, a little bit brittle sometimes. And finally, security. This one's a biggie. Every agent that can use a tool is another potential door for an attacker, so a bigger team means a bigger attack surface.
So if there's one single thing you take away from all this, let it be this. The magic of AI agent teams, the whole reason to use them, is to get work done in parallel. But their success or failure completely depends on a delicate balancing act. The benefits you get from doing work in parallel have to be greater than the cost and complexity of coordinating the whole team.
And that leaves us with a final, really fascinating question to chew on. As we look to the future of AI, where should we be focusing our energy? Are we trying to build one single genius-level AI, a better individual brain? Or is the real breakthrough going to come from getting better at building and managing these highly effective, intelligent teams? It's something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.